This is an Audio Wool original.
Frightday. I'm your host, Byron, broadcasting live. No, actually not live. I lied. From our compounds in the woods of Montana and beyond. The suburbs. Quiet streets, mowed lawns, illuminated porches. Commonly thought to be a safe place. But the muffling oak of a front door could easily be hiding a grisly act of depravity. Or inside could just be a family on a couch watching the latest episode of Abbott Elementary. We'll talk about that as we review Mickey Keating's Invader. I'm joined tonight by Kelly, and Sam can't make it. Oh wait, you're supposed to say your name, I guess.
Kelly.
No, Jesus Christ. Sam can't make it, and he won't answer his phone. But to help us out tonight, the Frightday pot stirrer, it's Jacob. He's waving.
Yes, hello.
God damn, both of you don't say any. It's a podcast. It's an audio show.
You told me very specifically to say my name, so I said my name.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to listen to your instructions.
All right. So the first episode.
Well, it's Frightday, and this is your host Byron McKoy.
I'm Kelly.
No, I'm gonna. Welcome back, Jacob. The first episode of this year's bracket style competition, it's the clash of elevated horror titans A24 versus Neon. It has aired, and I don't think it came out in March, but we're doing okay. We're better than last year, I guess, right, Kelly?
We are.
We're on track to wrap it up within a month, which is always exciting.
That's all that matters. We're getting better.
And I think
so far, I think I only screwed up one thing.
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure it's only because that's the one that we went to you for. If I had insisted on going to you for more, you would have screwed up more,
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So I think at this point, part 2 of round 1 will be out, but if not, it'll come out shortly after this airs. Jacob did cause a little bit of chaos, more than one situation. I think we referenced you as our tiebreaker in the bracket 3 times, maybe?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, people are not loving a couple things. So I thought that maybe to open up the episode.
Wait. That means that they liked me?
No, it doesn't mean they liked you. It means
they liked my opinions that got vetoed.
Listen, I mean, we were bound to.
Hopefully, they didn't like the fact that none of you guys watched Climax, which should have beat Hereditary.
I don't know about that. That's an interesting and
that's a fair criticism, though. The fact that we haven't watched it, that's fair. I'll take that.
I do want to say, I know Kelly might try to spoil things, even though I did mention that part 2, which is the neon focused part of the bracket, didn't air yet. We're gonna stick to A24 conversation. I should have watched Climax, Jacob. The trailers looked really good. You know, people crawling on on the walls towards whoever. I don't even know who the perspective is in that. Like, is it everyone laced with LSD, right? Like, who's the
Yeah, it's just like a nonstop like rave dance party that it kind of feels one shot.
Okay.
And it is just very like anxiety inducing, but also like weird and fun. It was wild.
Yes.
Seeing that at AMC with like a bunch of strangers around me was an
Seems
experience.
awkward. Seems like watching porn in a theater with around a bunch of people that you don't know. Seemed awkward.
And well, it's a Gaspar Noé, right? Did I say that right this time?
Remember how I told you how to pronounce that?
Yeah,
Normally I don't do
I
pronunciations, and I knew that one.
So, I mean, some folks were a little bit rattled that we went with In Fabric over Pearl. Which
that's a good choice.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well,
honestly, those movies were not as good as everybody says they were.
Well, you didn't see them, so you can't say that. You didn't see Pearl. I thought, I mean, when in reviewing...
Maxine is the best of the trilogy.
Well, you're really wrong, and that's about all the time we have for Jacob, so you can go.
Jacob, I only made it like 15 minutes in, and I was like, this is fucking annoying. I don't want to watch it anymore.
So good.
Mia Goth, her performance in the audition scene of Pearl, I just want to say was really incredible, and I think we kind of walked past
Audition scene at the beginning of Maxine. Are you sure you're not thinking of Maxine? Because that's when I was watching it and I was like, oh God, I'm annoyed.
1,000% sure, because I did watch both of the movies, Kelly.
I know, but that mean that's the only way you would confuse them is if you watched both of them, obviously.
All right. Well, so nods to Mia Goth's performance in Pearl. I think the other big upset would be the Midsummer versus Bodies, which again, the Midsummer, the seeding of it is 4th seed, 5th seed. So like they're very close when you consider
that's where
public opinion and critic
fucked me
acclaim.
over, Jacob.
What did I do?
Well, you said
I didn't
Picked
listen
the
to the
wrong
full
one?
episode yet. Oops.
You said Bodies, and I did as
Yeah,
well.
you were
yeah.
fucking wrong.
I mean, anything would win out over any.
God damn it! Ari,
Why?
He
I
hates,
can't even think of his
wrong?
name.
he hates Ari Aster. I forgot
You
about
really?
that.
Oh, yeah,
So
and-
you? Oh wow! So you didn't even like? Well, you must not have. Did you actually watch Beau is Not Afraid?
No, I actually did like that one. That's my
God,
favorite.
the
Oh,
one
is
that
it
everyone
great?
else
Yeah,
hates.
that was
This is
incredible.
ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I
Talk
liked
about
it a lot.
anxiety inducing. Like my whole argument is, unless you have some form of anxiety, that movie's just like nonsense. But if you actually have some form of anxiety, oh, it's so good.
Well, so I guess I and then I mean, of course, the tightest call. I think you went with TV Glow, or did you go Green Room? I feel like you're a Green Room guy.
Oh.
No, I went with TV
Green
Glow.
Room is
Yeah,
Green Room for me is like top 3 A24 of all
yeah,
time.
it's a pretty wonderful film. So
It's just so standard. I mean, it's a fun movie, but it's like there's nothing
Standard.
like that really.
Best representation of the punk music scene in
know.
cinematic history.
I
Fucking
actually think
Nazis
that's
and
pretty fair. yeah.
boots and music and
Well,
you know.
I think you're ignoring the nuances of Jeremy Saulnier's approach to filmmaking if you think that that's just a
I am
basic.
probably.
Yeah, like the way that he handles anxiety and pacing is really masterful. So, we did a good job, I guess, in reviewing this.
Okay,
I don't feel
sure.
too bad. I just wanted to make sure to recognize people's concerns. Speaking of concerning things, Kelly, we did get a voicemail. Oh God.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not
Go
gonna.
ahead.
I'm not gonna play it because I think that one, I don't think Jacob has listened to the show in a while.
Oh no, I'm up to speed. I love
fuck.
this.
Well, so wait, you are familiar with what was it? What's his code name? I can't remember. Kelly.
Piano Man?
Not Piano Man. I wish we had a Piano Man message. Allentown.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
the proton mail one, which Sam tells me is stupid because everybody knows that proton mail is like a thing that lots of people use, and I'm like, well, I don't know that, so it's it's the proton mail guy for me.
Okay, so I mean, we have received another message from Alan.
Okay, I get to see the photos. Are you going to show me the fucking photos that
Well,
I've been waiting for 2 weeks to see?
We're not going to do the photos on this episode.
Are you fucking kidding me?
We will explore the photos on a Behind the Screams episode.
Do you realize how much self-restraint and like zen I have already exercised in order to not freak out about this?
So this is why
and now you're telling me not now either?
I will never again share with you when I get a correspondence with Allentown. I sent her a screen cap almost immediately. I was out on a run and when we got this, and it involves
2 weeks ago.
Oh man, it has been a
I
bit.
can only imagine that like coming across your like Apple Watch like new email from and you just stop mid stride.
And he's super
to check
excited.
out.
He's like, I'm gonna bug Kelly so much with this. She's gonna be fucking crazy.
So this was from, it was from March 28th. The subject line is, "If there be spirits in the air," and it says here, "that hold their sway between the earth and sky, descend out of the golden vapors there and sweep me into iridescent life." Oh.
Okay, so I actually emailed you earlier
Uh-huh.
when I first got this email. I did not get photos with it, but I first got this email and I told you that it's a quote from a fucking play.
Uh-huh. Okay. Do you know what play it is?
And it's Faust.
Okay. Do you want me to continue?
Yes.
Okay. "Oh, came a magic cloak into my hands to carry me to distant lands. I should not trade it for the choicest gown, nor for the cloak and garments of the crown." And we have 5 pictures, and they're all named different things. Bet.png, Dalet.png, Gimel.png, he.png, and ALEPH, Alf. Yeah. And then, of course, we have the message, but do you think should I plug this in? Do you want to hear it?
What is...
Call 1-833-374-4489 now to share your paranormal encounters and real-life nightmares, or to talk horror with the hosts.
All right, quick break while I set up all the audio. For people who don't know, can you, Kelly, explain what the Allentown saga has been about so far? We've gotten 3 anonymous emails from a Proton Mail email address, talking about what now?
Well, a guy or gal who appears to have some insider knowledge about UFOs / military interactions / the history of US's interaction with recovery of, exploitation of retrieved vehicles. And there's been discussion of a pilot who died. It's been cryptic and often using like very esoteric literary references. And to me, it has to either be somebody who's really smart and is playing a really fun, like, I don't even want to say prank, but like, I don't know.
It could be
old...
an IRG, like a game that people are playing.
Right. Sure. Great. True.
Did I say is it ARG? I said
ARG, yeah. Augmented reality.
Yes, yeah.
Or
I love
it's
those.
Real.
Pretty fun. Cloverfield did a good one, and my buddy Mike and Steve.
Jacob, have you watched the OA? Have we had this conversation?
Oh, God. All right.
That's with the blonde woman?
Mm-hmm. Britt Marling.
Blonde.
Did you watch the second season? I
don't think I finished the first.
Okay, so you need to watch it because the second season's all about an augmented reality thing, and it is like...
Ooh.
You really should stick... It's so fucking good. It's so good. Okay. So
we have a 2-minute call, third call from Alan. And Kelly, stop me whenever, but make sure you stop me and don't talk.
Why am I going to stop you?
Well, I mean, because it's 2 minutes long. They might say something that's worthy of taking a break, but here we go.
Okay.
After the war, Kurt Davis paper-clipped off to Florida with Von Braun to tease the Russians with his vulgar tubes of
so
shit
that's
fire.
Already asking for the old time out there.
Yep. Okay, so just for, new listeners, paper-clipped off. So he was headed off with like somebody that was brought over with Operation Paperclip.
Which, of course, to people who
Jacob,
don't know...
do you need an explanation of that? Jacob, do you need something with that?
Following World War II, the Nazi scientists, German scientists, were divvied up between the Russians and the Americans. And they...
Yeah, and we brought them over and made them heroes and paid them money, and...
Disney liked them.
America's always loved Nazis. Don't be convinced otherwise.
Well, they gave us the rockets, I guess, so here we go.
Yay.
Fatuous theater, all of it. 90% of Explorer's budget went towards high-speed Kodachrome and Brill cream. But little to no dabbling among the unhallowed damps. Kamla, meanwhile, was resettled in Otero County, New Mexico.
All right, so Cameron's going to New Mexico.
Okay, so Jacob's got a really good ear for music. So, Jacob, can you listen to the background music and see what you are gathering from the background music? Because I feel like that's a really good area where I can't do much.
What I'm going to do with that, Kelly, is I'm going to use a stem splitter and separate the music from the audio. And then...
Okay, well, in real time, Jacob can weigh in still.
Jacob is... I don't want to say that he doesn't have the knowledge of, classic soundscapes, but who knows?
Well, no, it's like a weird chant that's behind it.
Yeah,
it sounded like... Honestly, I'm going to say it sounded like something that was maybe like a sampling from like a fucking scene in Avatar even.
To me, it reminds me of like a load screen from Halo, but okay, whatever.
It could be that too.
Here we go.
Same thing, actually.
Taxpayer dollars secured him a lovely split-level adobe home just 6 miles from the Alamogordo Army Airfield, where his laboratory was relocated. The first American batch of Machinen Elfen, Kamler's preferred term, was sourced from the St. Anthony Home for Boys up in Albuquerque. That joint was a real horror show. Runaways were very, very frequent, so when Herr Kamler came a-calling, offering technical scholarship, the Sisters of St. Francis gladly offered up 37 of their hardest hard cases. I'll spare Ms. the most lurid details.
Holy shit. Did they just say this?
Hey, he just said my last name. That's really fucking creepy.
So I will maybe beat that if you'd like me to.
Okay, that actually scares the shit out of me.
Well,
that actually really scares me.
Gonna spare you the details too, so.
Okay, hold on. So do either of you know anything about trying to trace where an email actually came from? Or
You
with
can't
Proton
do that
Mail,
with
is that
Proton
actually
Mail.
impossible?
It's not
Like, but
possible.
is it
Yeah,
actually impossible?
You reply, and then you type *69 and then send
Thank you.
that.
Fuck you.
Great job.
All of you.
Wonderful. We have 30 seconds left.
So let it be sufficient to say that the boys were given Homeric doses of luminol before the cutting started. The smallest of mercies, I suppose.
Interesting.
Like, what is that music?
Well, figure it out.
Why does he know my last name?
It's kind of odd. And, I mean, we have more locations and more names, which is exciting stuff. It's more to look into. And, of course, we have the pictures. But...
Well, so I'm wondering if what he's getting at is that what year was the actual MK Ultra cutting kidnapping near Alamogordo going on?
I don't know. I have no
Was
idea.
it 46? I guess I'm wondering if what he's getting at here is that that's what Roswell was.
Yeah, I mean, putting small luminol inside the bodies of small children that were kidnapped. Is that kind of what he's implying?
Well, boys from
Boys.
a boys' home, so like teenagers, kids, whatever.
I mean, I kind of like that theory. It's a little bit better. Kind of like, wasn't there in one of our early UFO crash episodes? I think we discussed the possibility of small, deformed Russian children.
It was actually a part of our Roswell discussion.
Was
yeah.
it really? That was all attached to that.
It was.
Wow. Okay.
It was, yeah.
And of course, you can go to shop.frightday.com to pick up the cassette version of that. That's not available anywhere else, Kelly. Kelly's Roswell. What I can't remember what we called it. The Roswell.
I don't know what we called it. Byron, I'm not done with this yet. I need you to tell me what was the exact date that it came in.
I will. The 28th of March.
And
It's called
any
the,
other text
the Roswell
in
incident.
the email?
No, that was, well, actually, I mean, we got the pictures, which of course, I think what you and I need to do is set aside about 2 hours to go stream at live.frightday.com where we kind of break down maybe all of this collectively and start writing some notes.
Do you have a string board set up yet?
I think we need to.
I mean, I do. I have, like, on my board over here, I have a couple of notes down, but I don't actually have the strings between them yet.
I'm just saying, like, I think that the only way for us to appropriately research all of this would be to actually sit
Who
down
else
and
knows
do it.
my last name?
All right. I mean, I maybe plenty of folks would be my guess, but who knows?
I don't like that. That's not good.
It's not great. But yeah, that's the latest from Allentown, and curious to know if you heard anything that stood out. Reach out to us, contact@frightday.com or @Frightday on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Yeah.
Do you have a transcript that was auto-generated from that audio?
I sure can do that for you.
I would like it, please.
You got it.
You guys go ahead and discuss this movie. I'm going to fuck around with that.
Well, let's not do that. And, I mean, do we want to do staff picks? Would that be fun? Of course, I think, Jacob, I'm going to hand you a DVD stack of films that need to be put away. And those films today mostly are Road to Perdition. It's time for staff picks.
Oh, was that only because?
They say so much, but they never tell you if it's any good.
Werewolf movie with P.T.'s mom in it?
The Howling, horror, straight ahead.
So I'm feeling a little straightforward today. I want to talk.
Well, are ya?
Yeah, a film that is underrated, and it is not this. I'm holding it up for the camera. You guys can't see it. I have a copy of Con Air from Hong Kong that I bought at an estate sale, which is pretty fun. It's not a DVD; it's a video CD. So maybe I'll put that away as well. But the film, I just had it on my desk. I wanted to show it off. Do you not like Con Air, Kelly?
What the fuck does Con Air have to do with this movie?
Nothing at all. The film I do want to talk about, though. We reviewed it, episode 68, which actually was one day more than 9 years ago, April 8th, 2016. I also, in that episode, interviewed Mike Flanagan and Kate Siegel about Hush. So check that out if you haven't heard it yet. It's from Adam Mason, and the film is called Hangman. Ever heard of that one?
Your house right now.
Yeah, I actually like that one.
911, what's your emergency?
Yes, hello. I think there's someone in our house.
Okay, ma'am, I need you to stay calm. What's your address?
3242 Milton Avenue.
Police are on their way. I need you to stay on the phone with me, okay?
Yes, please. Hurry. Hurry,
Ma'am,
please.
you say there's someone in your house right now.
Yes.
Are you able to get out of the house?
No. We're locked in. My husband.
Ma'am,
God.
slow down. Ma'am, slow down. Gone around. Ma'am, can you hear me?
So it looks like you guys can't see any of this for some reason.
Can't see, can't hear.
I saw and heard it.
Okay, so I think you may have not clicked.
How the fuck did you do that?
There's probably a button, Kelly, that you should have clicked that accepted the sharing of screens. We're a bit rusty, folks. It's been a couple weeks, but you remember
I got no buttons.
Yeah.
Fucking shit, fuck.
Wait, what?
Can I press? You said not to press watch stream, though. You said that was bad.
I never said don't push watch stream.
No, you did. You said not to press watch stream.
I don't know if I said that. That doesn't sound like me. Returning from vacation, the Miller family finds their home has been broken into, and after cleaning up the mess, they continue to live their lives, which is what you do in the wake of something kind of startling like that. They shake it off, but little did they know that the nightmare's just begun. What the family is unaware of is that Hangman has secretly been recording the family since they left for their flight. And after breaking into their home, he installed hidden cameras and established a surveillance suite in the attic, and may be secretly living inside their home. Does this ring a bell at all, Kelly?
Yeah, no, I totally.
And now we've entirely lost your audio.
Yeah, I know. It's because Siri engaged. As soon as I can see the audio or see the video, I totally remember it. Yeah, and now I understand why it's your staff pick. It's a good one, Byron.
Jeremy Sisto, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wonderful in it. Kate Ashfield, Ryan, and Ty Simpkins. And there's a small part for Amy Smart in this as well. Jacob, do you have any feelings about this? You ever seen this? 2015-16?
I've never seen that, no, but the trailers reminding me of 13 Cameras, which also was 2015.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think it's South by Southwest.
13 Cameras.
God, what a good year that was.
Which apparently, looking now, they changed the name to Slumlord instead of 13 Cameras.
But isn't there sequels? There's like 14 cameras and like 15 cameras that came out.
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, such a mean... lean little ripper of a film, and really even watching this trailer now with you guys, I really miss these kind of grimy found footage horror films. And it also might Jacob, that's really sweet. It also might
sorry, my girlfriend just walked down the stairs.
No, that was very sweet. Hi, girlfriend.
Sam's never that nice to me anymore.
I'm really excited after watching tonight's film to know that they can still make little films like this. And yeah, check out Hangman. especially if you like Invader, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Who wants to go next? Kelly said, okay, all right.
I will go.
You raised your hand, so.
Did. This movie was not a movie. This is a limited series that came out in 2023. I got really psyched out of my mind about it because it was a follow-up to, I think it's fair to say, my favorite series ever.
What, the OA or what?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
And it was created by Zal Batmanjic. Brittany Merling. And they together did the OA as well. And this didn't necessarily star Britt Marling, but she played a significant role in it. It's a story that was kind of dual pieces. One piece was a really cool twist on the Agatha Christie and then there were none scenario.
Sure.
Involving a Elon Musk type motherfucker in Iceland.
Why do you say it like that?
Because he is.
Sure.
Yep. So it takes place in Iceland. It's called A Murder at the End of the World.
Should I rip a trailer real quick? I don't think I've ever seen
Well, yeah,
this.
obviously.
Murder at the End of the World trailer coming
The second
up.
story that's being told while we've got this Agatha Christie style thing is one of the women who has been brought to this weird retreat center in Iceland is remembering a story with her boyfriend when they were on the hunt for a serial killer together, kind of as like internet detectives, and then they decided to go out in real life. But her boyfriend is played by the guy Harris Dickinson, who would go on to become famous for having sex with Nicole Kidman a bunch. But before that happened, he was really good in this, and she was really good, Emma Corrin. And it had really incredible acting, really cool story, and great parallel stories that were told, one of which I thought reminded me a lot of our movie tonight. So sorry, now go ahead and play it, Byron. My bad.
The first life that a serial killer takes, it tends to be someone he knows. So he gets the taste for it.
Hello, Darby. Aren't you going to invite me in? I'm here on Andy Ronson's behalf to invite you to a retreat.
Your cell phone, please. This is like half my brain.
Welcome. It's so exciting to see you all here.
You know him? A long time ago.
Everyone I've invited here has something extraordinary to offer the group.
Did you know LA Times called her Gen Z Sherlock Holmes?
We don't know who did this, we don't know why, and we don't know if they are done.
What an interesting little twist on that, Kelly.
It's really, like, I honestly think, Jacob, you and Byron would really enjoy it. Britt Marling is a genius and maybe an alien. It's fun. And it's, like, very contained. It's not one of those things that I think there could ever be a, like, sequel to. And I'm kind of a, like, sequel addict. I'm always wanting a sequel to everything. Addict. But this is, like, kind of a beautifully contained 7 episodes. I highly recommend. Everybody check it out. Well worth your watch.
Huh. And I think, where's it streaming now? If it was on FX, Hulu. That does make sense. That tracks.
Or Disney Plus, or, you know, whatever. Any of the things owned by that empire.
All right. Our latest staff member here, Jacob, what are you recommending to patrons of this establishment?
I mean, it's the most obvious choice, and it is not clever or witty at all. But it is, to me, a classic. I feel like it's a little underrated, but not really. But that would be You're Next, which also stars Joe Swanberg.
Of course.
It's really good.
God. You know, I actually forgot that he acted in that as well. You know, makes sense and tracks. And I think it is... I think that there's elements of it that are underrated, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Also, I think the most obvious would have been Silence of the Lambs. So I think you're okay.
Interesting.
The weird dancing? Yeah.
That does track.
And help us to do our part with kind words and loving deeds.
Amen.
It gets dark, we go home.
Where the heck is AJ Bowen?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Should we keep... Wait, what? What are you pointing
I'm
at?
looking into it. Don't worry.
Okay, I'll keep going then. Give you a second. Oh, Ty.
What is that?
Get away from the window! What is happening?
I don't see anyone.
All right, for audio listeners, that's probably plenty. Jacob, I mean, I respect your choice for many reasons.
Yeah, so it's funny. I actually, a couple nights ago, I actually just rewatched another Simon Barrett, Adam Wingard film, The Guest, with my girlfriend. She had never seen it before, so we watched that, and it made me start thinking of You're Next. And then I watched the movie for tonight, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's even some more of the same people.
It's 2013 all over again, huh? They were doing some magic.
It is. Although Joe Swanberg's got like an extra 30 pounds on him, it looked like.
Back
hey,
then?
you know, it's been some rough years.
Wait, now?
No,
or then?
no, now.
Now. I mean,
yeah, he did.
I've seen
unquestionably he did.
Well, that's true, but
getting canceled does that to you.
Oh, right, and we will talk a little bit.
I didn't even know about the cancel thing.
Talk about that.
Okay, so hold on just a second. Back to AJ Bowen. Hello.
Yeah. Answer.
Okay, so he's got a movie coming out this year that seems pretty fun. It's in post-production right now. It's called The Hollow Warrior. Desperate for companionship on a post-apocalyptic Halloween night, the last girl on Earth gets more than she bargained for when something far more sinister arrives on her doorstep, and it stars Millie Shapiro from Hereditary.
Okay.
And we've got Shannon Sossman, and, of course, AJ Bowen. So, keep your eyes peeled for that.
It actually looks like he has been working. I just haven't seen any of the stuff that he's done. Edge of Insanity.
The last few, I haven't seen.
But really, I mean, the work of the director we're talking about tonight, his most recent films I haven't seen either. But yeah, that I guess we should probably lock up then. And I think it's probably time for us to discuss the works of Mickey Keating as well as his film we're going to review tonight called Invader.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're enjoying your visit here this evening. Now, on with the show.
Invader, American horror film written and directed by Mickey Keating. A young woman arrives in the Chicago suburbs and begins to suspect that something terrible has happened to her missing cousin, but soon realizes that her greatest fears don't even begin to scratch the surface. Mickey Keating. We're fairly familiar at this point. Episode 37, Pod. Episode 67, Darling. Episode 78, Carnage Park. Youngster, born 1990. And I learned a couple things about him that I don't know if we mentioned in those episodes. Usually we do a quick little bio, but did you know that he interned for Blumhouse? That was like how he got his start?
No,
I didn't either. And then, he actually, from that experience, met a guy named Eric Fleischman, who was also an intern, who ended up producing his first film, Ritual, in 2013. But before all that, he continued his internship at Glass Eye Pix, which to me makes more sense. That's the Larry Fessenden-founded film studio, who would go on to produce Darling in 2015. A better home than Blumhouse. I can't imagine a Keating going like full Blumhouse, and thank goodness.
Byron, not to be a total contrarian, but actually his first movie was Ultraviolence.
Oh, that's fair.
In 2011.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, that's fair, but no one's ever seen it, so.
I know, but it's got literally double the rating of Ritual, so I feel like we all should see it.
Typically what happens when no one watches a film is the 7 people who do watch it rate it highly.
According to Letterboxd, there's a single user who has seen that movie.
Okay, come on, Kelly.
Well, there are 15 on
right.
IMDb.
So it's the same thing. Yeah, great, wonderful, awesome. I would love to see it, don't get me wrong, but yeah. Thanks for pointing that out.
I understand.
Appreciate you.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. So Mickey aggressively made films at this period of time. Something and we were talking about it just a second ago, I consider this the golden era of indie horror filmmaking in general. You know, Pod in 2015, Darling, I think the same year. They were shot just 9 months apart. That little window of VOD, which I believe is a phrase that we don't even say anymore. You say like direct to digital, remember? Us oldies who were doing podcasting 10 years ago, I said VOD a bunch, but between 2012, 2011, up through, I don't know, when did all this end? 2016, 2017? That's kind of pushing it. The boom of direct to video horror film, like direct to digital. Keating kind of ran the game. He was like the best. I don't know, along with Ty West and Adam Wingard, but impressive stuff. Tons of people took notice. A year later, there was Carnage Park, 2016, which we talked a bunch about. They're calling it a neo-Western horror film. I don't know if I'd go that far, but
it doesn't really feel that Westerny to me. But.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was set in kind of a desert environment, but like in vibes, I wouldn't call it a Western, no. But also produced by Eric Fleischman, the guy who helped him on Ritual, starring Ashley Bell and Pat Healy. I could ask where are these guys at a bunch, but yeah, Pat Healy's performance in Carnage Park was so impressive. He was so unhinged and fully detached from reality, and that was what made that film pop, even though the third act was basically just a blank screen. It was so dark.
Yes.
Then there was Psychopaths.
You know what I haven't seen is, Off Season that came out in 21. Byron, did you see that one? Because I was looking at the list, and that's the only one I haven't seen, and it looks pretty good.
Did you see Psychopaths in 2017?
Yeah.
I did not. It premiered at Tribeca. Either I saw it or I didn't like it.
I think you didn't like it because we watched it for the show. We didn't end up covering it, but we watched it like we were going to cover it.
Interesting. I mean, that's possible. I think if it who was in it, because I think that this is actually
Ashley Bell.
Was Alex Esso
James
in
Landry Airbear, who I think is Caleb Landry Jones's brother, unless I'm making that up. I feel like he is. They look really similar.
Interesting. I'm trying.
Anyhow, I also could totally be making that up. That could be one of the things that I dreamt.
I mean, it's a great cast.
Sam Zimmerman's in it. Remember, we had this discussion about how Sam had a bit part in it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he had an axe.
Wow, Byron, fucked up night. How am I remembering the shit that you're not?
I mean,
you okay over there?
It clearly didn't stand out, but I mean, wonderful cast: Jeremy Gardner, Helen Rogers, Matt Mercer, Graham Skipper, Josh Ethier, the gang. You know, I'll probably watch it again. Who knows? Though you brought up off.
I have a funny story about Psychopaths.
Yeah, tell me.
I love it.
So to me, Mickey Keating has always been a Telluride horror show sweetheart. I've seen just at that festival alone, I have seen Darling, Off Season, Psychopaths. So I've seen 3 of his movies there. The Psychopath screening was, the next thing I saw after Darling, which I love Darling. It's, so totally out there and very, So, his next movie comes out, Psychopaths. I'm sitting in the theater and it's like the super old, like historic, like stage theater that they screen movies in. The seating is horrible. Nothing's comfortable. You can hardly see the tiny screen.
Balcony's
but
the worst.
I'm sitting there and the balcony. I was up in the balcony and I was sitting there and the movie starts playing and I was like, okay, cool. And I see what's happening on the screen and you could hear like leaves crunching and like you could hear those kind of sound effects. No dialogue, no music. The only audio track that was playing was like background noise, basically.
Oh, no.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, this is an interesting opening. Like, but then again, it's Mickey Keating. Maybe he's just up to some weird shit. 35 minutes goes on, and you can see people's mouths moving, and no dialogue was coming through the speakers.
Was he there?
And they eventually just stopped the movie. No, he was not there that year. But eventually they stopped the movie and they're like, you know what, guys, this isn't working. This is not how it's supposed to be. We're going to have to cancel this showing. So I didn't actually get to see the whole movie there. I had to watch it later on.
Sure.
And I hated it. It was
hated
really
it.
bad.
Yeah.
What did you think of
I gave it a
Off-Season?
1 star.
So that's what I was going to say. Confirmed
I
miss.
liked Off Season.
Off Season was kind of a miss for me. But like, I think what you briefly mentioned it, Keating, his movies are all different, which is, kind of cool, but it means that, if you like one thing he does, you might not like the next thing. And for me,
that's true.
I feel like Off Season felt like his, like, and I haven't seen enough.
Felt like The Innkeepers.
Kind of, but almost Lovecraftian or something in a weird way, like not in necessarily like, the mythical elements of that, but almost tonally, like it felt a little bit more surreal than some of his other stuff. I don't know. It just there's something about it, and Joe Swanberg was in it, so maybe my hopes were high at the time. And we'll talk more about current Joe Swanberg feelings in a little bit, but yeah, I remember being kind of disappointed by that. I don't know. It's cool that he likes to change things up so much. Pod is a sci-fi film. Darling is his Hitchcockian film. Carnage Park is apparently his Western. And Psychopaths is his what? I don't know. What would we call it?
Drugs.
Okay, great. So here we are. Well, actually, before we talk about his next film, did anyone check out The Core on Shudder? That's his series, his talk show that he hosts over there, where he interviews filmmakers.
No.
Yeah, he explores practical effects, talks to filmmakers about their movies. He's kind of like, I think that this is also why he took such a large break between this film and his last film. Off Season was 2021. He had kind of a good thing going over at Shudder, and to me, it felt like he's like the new, like indie horror Eli Roth, kind of like he's the authority of like indie horror and is like kind of championing, up and coming filmmakers and films, which is kind of cool. He seems very excited about horror, and I do appreciate and enjoy that, even though I haven't seen much of The Core on Shudder. I think it's kind of cool. I like it. Yeah. Invader. This is his, well, let's go to his words and see what exactly this is. This is his true crime film. And about that element, he says, the most frightening element of any true crime, the things that stick with you the most, are the ones where you don't know why. We can project and try to find breadcrumb trails, but the overall explanation is a question mark, and that's more terrifying than a manifesto. This is his grimy, and I got a quote here. This is his, well, I guess he worked with Joe Swanberg. Let's talk about Joe Swanberg.
Yeah, can somebody fill me in on the cancel stuff?
Well,
okay, this is my new thing though. Was it
Yeah.
a like scale of 1 to 10?
well,
1 being like
that puts
an
us-
unwanted shoulder touch, 10
Sure.
being a Weinstein.
Well, it's not.
Where's our
well,
Swanberg?
It doesn't always have to do with. I mean, it's way more complicated than that. I think I talked a little bit about my feelings about mumblecore on maybe even the last episode that we were talking about this when we were teeing this up, maybe 2 episodes ago.
Oh, yeah, I do remember now.
So Swanberg in his early works had some sexual moments with actresses and collaborators on films like Greta Gerwig in Nights and Weekends and Josephine Decker at some other moments as well, who both have gone on to be amazing filmmakers, and both who have discussed expressed regret, maybe, or not even regret, just expressing that maybe they wouldn't have approached these projects the way they did if they had the opportunity to do it again.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The projects that they're talking about, like at that point in time, how much relative, I don't know, seniority or power did he have compared to them, like in the film industry?
I don't know if it's about that necessarily. I think that there's still some dynamics.
Oh, I thought that that's what it was about. I thought it was about like they did stuff, but in retrospect, they're like, I don't know, it was weird. Like the power dynamic was weird, and I'm just wondering.
I think that they were equal collaborators, and I don't know if that. I mean, clearly that matters, of course.
That matters a lot.
It makes sense.
Doesn't mean that there wasn't a thing that went wrong. I'm just trying to understand the context.
It's just, I think the energy that his filmmaking was exuding was a little bit more of like an easygoing. We're creating art. We're doing something that it's a new kind of hyper realistic improv based filmmaking that at the time may have felt like revolutionary or almost like dangerous in a way that at the time, I don't know, it's so tough to, because I wasn't there, of course, but like I know that as a young viewer of these mumblecore films, I was like, oh, this is super interesting because it feels so real. But when you're crossing the line between real and creating and collaborating, it gets messy, especially when you include elements of sex, and potentially like real sex, which has never been clearly confirmed. There is definitely like scenes of actors putting on condoms on other people and being on top of them. Like, there's a documentary I just got done watching called Flames. Hi, buddy. Are you sleeping? Sorry. My dog just woke up.
Was that Oliver howling?
Yeah, he was doing a little howl. He just woke up from a dream. Flames, which is a documentary about Josephine Decker and her then partner kind of going through their relationship from beginning to its like end, it's a really interesting film. It's heartbreaking. It's heavy. But there's a scene in it where her former partner says, "You film fucked Joe Swanberg." And it seemed as if he was being like real about that. So,
okay. So you guys, at the risk of like, I don't know, Byron, cut this if you don't think that I should be talking about this, but
okay.
So obviously if somebody was uncomfortable in a situation, it's worth discussing and it's worth bringing up. And I think it's worth having a conversation with Swanberg to be like, hey, like in retrospect, this was kind of shitty. Right? Like, I don't really feel great about the way this went down. But if, and this is a big if like there wasn't a big imbalance of power, it's like, I think we all have things that happen to us in our teens or 20s that we look back on and are like, oh God, like that was not awesome. Like, I even think about choices that I made that certainly were influenced by other people, but like at what point
you're talking about personal responsibility, kind of in a sense. If you're
and I don't think there's anything
co-collaborators,
wrong with. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with regretting it. I also don't think there's anything wrong with like bringing it up to somebody if you felt like there was something that they could have done differently. Like, but airing that publicly if there wasn't something, I don't know. I really, Byron, we've talked about this before. Like, I have become more and more sensitive over the years, and this is weird because I have daughters, but to the odd, unexpected that I never thought of before burden that guys carry of how fucking easy it is to cross a line that you don't even know exists. Like, there are certain, like, very clear, right? And I think that there are plenty of nuances that need to be discussed, but I also feel like, you know.
Well, and this is when I don't know, Jacob. We didn't talk about this yet. Have I correctly laid this out? I mean, I don't know if you know any other details about this. That
it's not like I was being a little facetious with the whole using the term cancel, but I just knew there was some. It's not totally dissimilar to the Vincent Gallo, Chloe Sevigny thing ordeal that happened with the Brown Bunny.
Yeah.
Hold on, did she have a problem with that? I didn't even I know the whole Brown Bunny like infamous situation, but like I thought that was like. At the time when I read her interviews about it, it was like an artsy thing that she was like, seemed to be proud of and was like leaning in too hard. In retrospect, that wasn't how she felt about it.
I could see it being similar. Like, I think, and
I don't know.
I hear you. And I mean, I think that there's a big discussion that's worth having in the, 10 years removed from that film movement's birth, the stuff that we thought was so groundbreaking at the time, it might not have been as appropriate, I guess, as I was.
But I guess I don't know why it's less appropriate for him than it is for her.
To me, it's because Joe Swanberg's filmmaking technique has always been, at least, I've got a collection of his 4 films from 2011 is what I think is the year. He would just like get a group of people together on a weekend with no plan of what the movie is. And then kind of set in motion this like energy that I think could very easily be, I don't know, a certain kind of pressure that would make a situation like that would breed a situation that could be regrettable is all I'm saying. Like,
right. And I guess that sounds totally feasible to me, what you're describing, without something like, oh, that Monday, Greta Gerwig woke up and was like, fuck, that did not feel good. I need to talk about this. Like, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, short of something like that, I don't understand. And obviously, who knows what the variables are, but I think that there's a real chilling effect to placing the blame so
squarely and
unevenly.
I think that's fair.
And there are plenty of variables that, if brought to light, would make that a lot more logical, at least in my, one judge, jury, and executioner mind of mine. But like, I guess.
Yeah,
it's shitty to think about like that being aired very publicly and being such a huge thing and feeling like I'm sure that's had like a pretty tremendous impact on his career. And in the absence of something more damning or like, callous or
his films involved him putting his wife in sexual situations in film, and whether or not she chose to do that stuff too or felt pressured to inside of their relationship is also another thing. That's all between them. And I agree that like the conversations that Joe and Greta need to have or have had, and the same with Josephine Decker, like that's all between them. There's an article from Vulture that I don't know if we have time to get into, from 2000.
Oh, I should read that.
Yeah, it's called Mumblecore Muse Greta Gerwig on Nights and Weekends and the Ugly Side of Movie Sex. So I'll put that in the show notes.
Like, that feels totally logical to me. Like, I can totally understand that. I just don't. I've got to read it, but it would be hard for me to understand why the outcome of that is like and it's Joe's fault.
I'm not squarely blaming him for that. I will say that I don't like that. So he's a Chicago guy. Most of the work he does is kind of centered around Chicago, which is one of my favorite cities. His series, Easy on Netflix. Is that what it's called? Easy, Jacob? I'm not really sure.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it had 2
It's like an anthology kind of series.
Yep, and again, very centered around sex and kind of interesting from an interesting perspective, which is something I've always appreciated of his. It's always like, not straightforward sex. It's like sex between couples who are struggling, or shining a light on sex work in general, like really, really important, cool stuff. And I really do like that series. But after that, he hasn't done much. And I know he ended up getting divorced from his wife, who is now a filmmaker herself. And during the pandemic, I can't find the interview for the life of me, but I remember him complaining about his kids having to wear masks at school, which was pretty interesting. And then I found a rumor that makes sense and tracks along those same lines on Reddit, where there's a venue in Chicago called the Music Box, where...
Oh, I even know that.
Yeah, you lived in Chicago for a little bit.
Yeah, that doesn't mean much.
He used to have his picture on the wall, and after they required masks or vaccine cards for entry, he made them remove his picture from the wall because he thought it was authoritarian to
so like he's a douchebag with regard to that. It doesn't mean that he's like...
God. You don't have to defend everything that we say about him.
No, I'm saying like he's like it sounds like somebody I would have no interest in spending time with, and that I would disagree with about most things. I also am trying to be much better about doing full-blown sweeping categorizations of people, where if they are in my bad box in one category, they're in all bad boxes in all categories.
I love that growth for you, and I also love that in me just mentioning that Mickey Keating worked with him on this film and that he was inspired by Joe Swanberg's kind of anti-planning for films, that we've found ourselves here talking 20 minutes about Joe Swanberg. Again, one of my favorite filmmakers, but now in retrospect, pretty problematic, potentially problematic.
Will you send me the link to that article? Because I do want to read it.
Yeah, let's do it not now, though, because we're doing a podcast.
Just send it to me. I won't read it now.
Well, I will. If I send it to you now,
I won't read it now.
Okay, I'll send it.
No, I won't. I swear I won't.
All right.
I swear.
Wonderful. But yeah, I mean, this film is very much inspired by that kind of improvisational grittiness, and it's one of the things I really enjoy about it. Yeah, it was also shot during the pandemic. They shot all the outside stuff first and then moved inside. In the interview, Mickey said that he rented this house and then trashed it. I can't imagine that's how it worked, because it seems like that would be a lot of fucking work to clean up afterwards. It's a mess. And I'm pretty sure...
Maybe that was a huge part of the budget, right?
Maybe, yeah. I think that's a good idea. Trash a house, fix it up. Why not? Do we want to... I mean, I don't know if we need to walk through this necessarily. It's a fairly straightforward, simple plot, right?
Can I talk about the beginning and what it had me thinking, because it ended up evolving differently?
Sure. We find ourselves in Chicago. That's where they shot it. Yeah. Let's start there.
So, a woman
Anna.
of some Hispanic ethnicity.
She's from Mexico.
Arrives in Chicago on a bus. Yeah. She's like the last person off of a Greyhound bus late at night. And because of the political climate that we find ourselves in right now, I mean, I'm always watching things through the lens of whatever I'm seeing and thinking is going on in the world. And this, I don't know if this was intentional or not. I have no idea. But the way I experienced the first half of this movie, even with the title of the movie, was like a allegory of our gross xenophobia of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that this girl was treated immediately by multiple people, who in the end I don't think ended up having anything to do with the actual core villain of the story, but she's sitting and waiting and trying to get a hold of her cousin. She's not able to get a hold of her cousin at the bus station. There's a taxi driver out front who's creepy as shit, and when she realizes she doesn't want to get in the taxi with him...
I would get in a cab with a one-eyed cab driver who just has a bandage wrapped.
Yeah, you're not... You're
woman.
not a woman of color.
Yeah,
So,
I was gonna mention that. That was in my notes as well. It's like, what?
So I have no idea if that was at all in the intent of the filmmakers, but for me, I was like, oh my God, this whole movie is about like she's being treated as the invader and like she's just being treated horrifically. And all she's trying to do is go visit her fucking cousin, and everybody is just horrific to her. And then obviously in the second half of the movie, it took a completely different turn. But so,
well, I mean, we could talk about one specific encounter, like at the grocery store, after she kind of starts this search for her cousin, you know, after walking there because this cab driver, and why is he chasing her too? Because
he's
I
that
have something to
pissed.
say about that.
Yeah, please, Jacob.
Were you ever a cab driver, Jacob?
I was not a cab driver, no. I did Uber Eats on a bicycle. But I wrote in my notes, is she ableist? Did she not want to get in a taxi just because the driver was handicapped?
Now we're heating up. Now he's stirring the pot.
I put the blame on her.
Fuck that.
He was just trying to give her a ride home, and she's freaking out for no reason.
No. The way he communicated, get in the car.
Yeah.
Just get it. It was creepy as
it's like
shit.
4:30 in the morning. He got woken up to
drove
go do
all
this.
the way
He's
out
frustrated. He's annoyed. He's well,
could've
he's tired.
gotten
He
out of
doesn't
the
want to
car.
be there.
Okay, if she was like some tall, blonde, hot chick, he would have gotten out of the car and come and like loaded her suitcase for her and been like, here's the door.
All right.
Madam, come sit. He's like, get in the car. I wouldn't have gotten in the fucking car with him. No way. And
That
it wouldn't
was what
have
I was gonna
anything to
ask.
do with his one eye.
And I think that
No way.
that
Not in a million years.
He is
And if my
confirmed-
daughter would have, I would have been like, that was a fucking bad choice.
All right, that's ableist. It's also what?
If he couldn't walk, and that's why he didn't
can't
get out of the
see.
car, totally fine. Okay.
And
No.
also,
And he's
This is
only
ridiculous.
chasing her. He's only chasing her because she stiffed him on his. He's like, okay, I drove
He's
out here.
outgassed.
You wasted my time, and
Yeah.
now I'm not getting paid for it.
I mean,
I'm
the
gonna.
way he reacted was really bad, though. Him like,
Yeah.
cussing and
How that neither of you have ever lived as a woman.
well, that I know. That's what I was gonna say. But also, Kelly, you're expecting
That was creepy. His tone,
well.
like from the get-go, before he got pissed, his first words to her were creepy as shit and
Some-
sent off every alarm.
some
In fact,
people-
before I knew what was going to happen in this movie, I thought for sure he was a killer and he was going to
All
kidnap
right.
her. I
Some
thought that was
people-
absolutely where it was going.
I just want to state some people can't help how they look, Kelly. So
Oh, no. I said his first interaction with her, what he said, how he said it,
Well-
how he interacted, had nothing to do. It was before we even
Some
saw
people
what he
are
looked
grumpy.
like.
I was gonna say it's not.
Well, then he
he's
probably
not
shouldn't be
obligated.
pissed about a woman at 4:00 in the morning not wanting to get into a fucking car with him.
You're not obligated to get out of a car and load someone's bags or be nice even. I'm just
You're
saying.
also not obligated to get
To be
into
fair-
a car with somebody who makes you feel threatened.
That's true.
To be fair, she also asked how he knew she was there. I don't think she called him.
And
So
which
know how
I
he
don't even.
showed up.
That was.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that came up too because I don't even think that. I don't know how that happened. I think that's maybe it was a mistake, but it's
She didn't place a call. He probably knew that it was like the.
It's all
Here's
the-
my guess.
it's a red
The fucking
herring.
asshole was somewhere drinking.
Oh my God,
and
Kelly! Please
he knew
do
he
not.
was supposed to get there for the arriving bus, and he got there late, and everybody else who had
All
come
right.
in on the bus had already gotten their rides.
Don't
He's
even
like,
mean-
"Oh, there's one chick left. Fucking get in the car." I hated him. I hated
just
him.
don't
I
know.
hated him more than the latex man.
It seems that way. It seems, and there's the wine is gone. The whole bottle's
Okay,
gone.
I do have to say though,
There was
do
a
have to
glass
say
and a
that.
half left.
Yes, Jacob.
when she's after that and she's like walking the rest of the way, and all of a sudden he starts pulling up behind her again, like hours later. I kind of had to roll my eyes at that. I was like, "What is going
Go
on? here?
home.
Like, this is the like."
He like chased her through the fucking bus
All right,
station.
That is
and-
so.
and all I'm saying is, it is clear that he was the bad guy, but for the assumption of him being a bad guy is not fair. That's all, Kelly.
His initial interaction with her was that should send
It
warning
was-
flares off for every woman in the world,
It was lacking.
especially a woman of color who is already treated like shit by half of
Yes.
society.
Well, yeah,
So
like also by the grocery store employee. Because Anna, she goes and visits the grocery store where Camila works, and she meets a guy named Carlo, who's actually pretty nice, one of the co-workers of
Very nice.
Camila. And she meets the boss, who is less nice and seems to be talking right through her. Bad, awful guy. And I think he says that the cousin was likely in the parking lot getting high, which, I mean, we have no information about this cousin, but doesn't matter. Seems like a stereotype,
right? No, it was an assumption because she's brown, so clearly that's what she was fucking doing.
So it was a bad guy, but we pick up on
She's
Carlo.
probably eating cats.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah, when he was like when he responded to her in Spanish in a very like condescending way.
Yeah. It was bad. It was rough.
To be fair though, she was in an employees only back room.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, like desperately concerned about her cousin's well-being. Like it wasn't like a casual.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Just really feeling again how gross this movie made me feel about everything.
Yeah. Anna takes off, and Carlo in a car ends up pulling up behind her and talking to her, and they formulate a plan. She gets in the car with
Carlo, by the way, is very nice and takes the time to like exchange words with her to the point where she feels comfortable, because he probably has at least a slightly better understanding of how paranoid she is at this point of wanting to speak to anybody or get in a car with anybody.
Yeah, he does a great job of, not being terribly pushy and establishing himself as a safe person and someone that actually cares. It's really wonderful. Good
and
guy.
also somebody who has dealt with authority in America long enough to know the ins and outs of how to protect yourself and how to hopefully get some type of basic level of protection or support with an important situation.
Yeah, that if Anna,
I think later on in the movie he even... sorry.
No, you're good, Jacob. Go.
I was saying later on in the movie he even says like I have a record, or like I have,
He does.
like I can't do this because,
Right.
Well, they make a call to the police, not directly necessarily to do kind of a welfare check on the residents of the home that Anna is trying to check up on. The police show up, and at the door is not her family. It is a stranger, a white guy with a baseball cap, talking to the police.
And the worst fitting jeans I have seen anyone wear.
Interesting.
Oh my God, I almost brought that up with Jeremy Gardner, and now we're back to it. I love it.
Wow.
Nothing worse than a terrible fitting pair of jeans.
What was wrong with them?
I swear, Joe Swanberg's got to be like 6'4",
a big
and
guy, very tall.
They made him look like he had short, stumpy legs.
They
just were so ill-fitting. The way they fell on the shoes.
You brought up that he gained weight. Those jeans made him look like he gained at least 3 times as much weight as he actually had gained, which we learned once he put on the other
suit. He didn't look that bad.
All right, it was the pandemic. I'm going to give him a little bit of leeway, guys.
No,
come on.
Those jeans were fucking awful.
We all went up or down in the pandemic. So it was and that's funny. I didn't even notice, but yeah,
they're terrible. They're terrible.
All right,
horrible jeans.
So he's the invader, folks. Fuck, I don't even know where to start from here. Like, one thing I did forget to mention is that most of this film is, I think all of it is handheld, so it feels almost like voyeuristic throughout, like you're kind of there experiencing it with Anna. And I think since, like, we didn't even mention that it was 70 minutes long, it's the shortest film probably next to Host that we've covered on the show. It is, it almost feels real time. Like, there's not many moments that are cut in this, really. It feels very immersive. And I think that the film being so, it takes about 30 minutes for us to even get to the Invader reveal, gives us enough time to establish, like, not a comfort, but like a position with Anna. So everything else that happens next feels almost personal and visceral. And I think it's really wonderful the way they approached it, the way they shot it, and the way it was paced. How do we approach this? I mean, the rest of this, I don't know.
Hard turn, totally.
There were moments where we follow the invader, not necessarily Anna. It breaks away, and I think that was kind of illuminating. It's almost like a combination between it's what he is to me. Invader is like modern day Leatherface. He's not necessarily all there. He's reacting kind of id-like, throwing beers
he
around.
reminded me of Buffalo Bill quite a bit, actually. And not just like the weird gender thing, like with him wearing the wig and the woman's mask, but the gimp suit, but like the
I love that we
way
don't
that
set that up, but we've mentioned it twice. Yeah, he does have a gimp suit on at some point. And a mask.
But it's not like a full gimp suit either. It's
not his though. He found it in the house, right?
Oh, did he? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
See, because we don't know.
That's a pretty...
I think when he was walking around the house looking through it, he found it in a closet with a box with wigs.
Oh. And he didn't bring that with him, you don't think?
No,
I mean, it seems like a kind of thing that would be weird to like fit someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
true.
I've never had one, but maybe.
Well, I know that those latex suits require a lot of powder to get on, and it seemed...
Oh God, it makes me feel claustrophobic to think of it. It was very uncomfortable. But like, he's even at the beginning where it shows him and he's living in the attic, but like the house is trashed. The bathroom, when Anna walks into it, is like obviously like horrific.
Oh, that bathroom was...
That bothered me.
What the fuck happened in that bathroom?
I mean, I
couldn't
tell
was it
if there
barfing
were...
or bleeding?
It's a man who drinks a lot of beer.
Oh God!
I mean, it looked like barfing. It looked like there was blood. It looked like there was all sorts of things going on. I don't really know, but like, clearly he is not just like a homicidal maniac. He's like broken in a lot of ways. There's just weird, like, inhuman existences going on.
Yeah, I mean, when he's staring down the barrel of a gun, just banging his chest like a gorilla or something, like...
I mean, I still think he's a
very
maniac.
strange reaction.
I don't think that there's a lot behind the eyes of the invader. I
think it was just like weird animal broken psyche.
Sure. Yeah.
He eats unseasoned steak.
Fuck, that scene.
I mean, as long as it's got salt, I'll eat unseasoned
all right,
steak.
regular
I guess that is seasoned by nature.
Jordana Peterson over here.
Actually, okay, this is gross. It actually kind of, until like when he first put the steak in the frying pan, I'm not going to lie, it made me hungry.
Jesus Christ. That's so fucked,
Kelly.
A
minute later it didn't. It didn't. But I was like, fuck, that looks really good.
I mean,
really good.
The steak, the berserker mode that it goes in tandem with the steak cooking was really like I love this film. I'm going to say it now. Like wild, like how intense the smoke and the sizzle and I wish the stabbing part would have been a little bit more hard hitting, but the scene itself and the way that Joe...
You know what I thought was hard hitting about the stabbing part?
Yeah.
By the way, Carlo gets stabbed, everybody.
Yeah, okay. Watch the film, everybody.
So was not like, it didn't hone in on the stabbing part, but it really drilled down on the aftermath and agony. The way that the invader was like relishing in the agony and documenting the agony. I thought that was really interesting.
With that camera,
like over and over again with like weird angles with the camera. It was about at this point that the invader started to feel more to me like a Michael Myers character than anything. Like, just
there's a curiosity.
Not relatable. Right? Like, there sometimes when you hear serial killer stories or like really violent stories, there are at least little tidbits that you can relate, like some level of humanity there. Mm-hmm. And this felt like it was deliberately untethering any of those. So at that point, I'm like, oh wow, like this is just a complete wild animal. Like there's no understanding. And the rest of the movie, I'll be interested to hear what you guys think, but like the long scene outside with him moving between different places and like, I kind of, on the one hand, I was kind of waiting for like the so what of all of that. Like, why are we watching this? Like, what's the reason? What's the outcome of all of this? And also, at that point, our invader is injured pretty severely, to the point where, again, like Michael Myers, you think, okay,
how is this happening?
How is he still alive?
Yeah.
Like, why is he continuing to move? Also, you wonder, okay, why are the heroes in this story not like finishing the job? Like, hit him again with the baseball bat,
Well,
shoot him again with the
horror
gun.
film stuff. That always happens.
Yeah, no, I had the same thought when she hit him with the bat. The knife fell next to him, and then she picked up the knife just to untie her cousin instead of stabbing him. And I was like, come on. I know this is a horror movie, but come on.
Well, I mean, there's something interesting about that though too, because like I think that throughout this film it establishes itself to not be that kind of horror film, and I think that it makes moments like that stand out a lot more when someone doesn't, you know, go berserk with a baseball bat in a film, instead leaving it. And I think that oh no, that was Drop I watched. I was gonna say someone went upstairs. That didn't happen in this. They went upstairs, but they were in a cellar, so it made sense. But yeah, I think that stands out a little bit more when you're watching a film that is so gritty and a little bit more realistic, I guess, than, you know, a mainstream Michael Myers.
Will you guys walk through the rest of it with me and explain to me, I don't want to say like the purpose, but even like the cinematic purpose of the subsequent 15 minutes?
You mean following the invader?
Yeah, so like after he stabs Carlo.
Okay. Before we get there, really, really quick, I do want to just ask one more question. Like, so we've mentioned, I've mentioned Leatherface, and you mentioned Michael Myers. Do you think that this is a mishmash of slasher like characters, or is this something wholly original? Is this something new? I don't
know. I got the sense it was supposed to be something new. I mean, obviously with inspiration, but Jacob, what's your take?
Or even add Buffalo Bill to the mix. Yeah. Like it feels like something kind of unique to me as well, Kelly.
I almost feel like it was less about him and the act of just having your house being invaded and not really knowing who is there or what they want. It's more of the confusion surrounding it all versus like the actual person behind it that's executing it.
Sure.
Just because he does feel so unrealized as like a fully fleshed out person or character, which I think is intentional. I think, and in that way, I do agree with like the Leatherface aspect of it. But yeah, I think it's more of just the what than the who.
It's
like just the pure chaos, the scariness of like there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah. And I guess he did mention that in that quote, you know, saying that the thing that actually scares him about true crime is like the motive, like the real reason that you aren't going to be able to figure out, which leads us to, I guess, this final chase sequence with the invader, which, I mean, he literally unmasks himself. So he changes, but I don't know how much and how different he is, like, you know, when he's running and scrambling. Like, it's
because he doesn't seem to take on any human qualities. He's just like literally survival running.
Yeah, it is animalistic.
Well, it was weird because he almost turned into like in, you know, slasher films, you get people trying to run away from the bad guy, and they're always tripping and falling and stumbling.
That's interesting.
And he took on that characteristic, yet he was the bad guy of the movie. And it was really interesting how they kept going back and forth between. I kept thinking like, oh, he's actually going to die now because the, you know, bullet wound is getting to him. But then he'll have a surge of adrenaline and get up and start like trying to smash through a door. And then he'll like collapse for a little bit. And then he'll get back up. And I'm like, damn, dude, this dude's all over the place. Like,
but never was I doubting it in like a supernatural sense, like a Michael Myers. Like it was still different.
I kind of was.
Really?
It felt really weird to me.
You thought?
Yeah, because I
like,
for sure thought just...
especially the blood all over his face. Like I couldn't tell whether he took a gunshot like to the head somewhere or what was going on. Okay, yeah, I mean, like that was
shot in the neck. Yeah, I thought he was going to die in the basement, and then it cuts to the mask off outside and him running, and that's when I was like, oh, so it's like Halloween. It's Michael Myers. He's in Chicago suburbs right now, running around after he should be dead.
Yeah.
Right. And then I kept like my brain was still trying to fit this in like the racist narrative box so badly that when I hear the sirens coming, I'm like, oh boy, I know what's going to happen right now. What's going to happen is the police are going to show up, and because they're brown people, they're going to shoot them instead, and they're going to think they're the ones that did this because like her fingerprints are on the knife. And like literally I like kept trying to fit it in that because my brain was so dead set on that being the narrative, and obviously
you gotta touch some grass, Kelly. You're
I
in
know.
deep.
I've been outside of the house. I've been leaving the house daily, Byron. You'd be
Good.
very proud of me.
That's
Yep.
good.
I sat at Clyde Coffee for like 3 hours today.
And I see and appreciate that perspective. I just don't know if it was ever going to lean that heavily
I think that's a statement on me
Yeah.
more than anything else. That's what I mean. Like, it was very clear that I was trying to fit it in that box.
It's funny you say that because there's a scene at the end where he's trying to take off in someone else's vehicle.
This was interesting.
And that man comes out and he's like, yo, who are you? He's like, get out of my car, what blah, blah, blah. But he's wearing a police uniform at that point. He had stolen a police jacket. And so when I hear the sirens approaching, I thought to myself, I'm like, yo, the cops are going to show up and see someone in a police jacket fighting with a black man. This black man's going to get killed right now.
Okay. Thank you. I want to read an interview to see if that was at all any intended portion, or if that's really just 100%, my lens and Jacob's slightly less obnoxious lens.
No, I mean,
because mine was like all encompassing.
So I've only listened to 2 interviews about this film, and it was all out of Fright Fest where it premiered. But it was the release of this film was also very interesting. We should have talked about this sooner, but it only had a theatrical run for the longest time, and that was actually, I believe, the intended only release of this film for a long time. Which,
oh, really?
Yeah, which I find.
Yeah, I follow his Instagram, and he was posting like, "You won't be able to see this anywhere else,"
which is great marketing. I feel like that's Hitchcockian for sure to say, like, it's like The Tingler. Basically, it's a gimmick. They're like, this is only going to be in theaters, and then it's gone. Luckily for us, it did eventually come out, and I don't even know. We've covered a lot of this. I don't know if we need to go much deeper, right? Lean film.
I mean, I went pretty deep.
Yeah. Kelly, I guess highs and lows. Let's start there. Well, end there.
I'm chewing my
how about Jacob?
Watermelon fiber gummy, so let Jacob go first.
Okay. I put highs. It's only an hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And that it takes place in Chicago. And
Wow,
then lows,
that's limited.
I put the first 45 minutes.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Wow.
I also had written
downer.
here, let me see. I had this written down. Mumblecore, more like a mumble snore.
Oh, right. Okay, so I'll just take
Well,
that.
actually, hold on. Mumblecore, more like mumble bore.
All right, so there's a couple more of those.
Holy shit.
Rude. Uh-huh.
All right.
Kelly.
I think Jacob wrote those either probably subconsciously. I don't think it was consciously. I think he wrote those and was that negative about it as soon as he could tell that we were going to be positive about it, because Jacob is nothing if not a contrarian.
Yep. He's got backups. He's got positive and negative every time, and then he
Just in case, depending. He's like, if we had both talked shit about it, he'd be like, "You guys are fucking crazy.
This is the best movie
This
ever."
movie was amazing.
Yeah,
it's better than anything I've seen in the last 5 years." I clearly enjoyed it more than Jacob did. I don't know that I would have loved it for a 2-hour film. I thought it was a perfect, essentially, almost like an episode of something.
Oh, we're doing highs and lows, just so you know. I just didn't want you to do your
I know,
full-
that's a high.
Oh, I thought you were going final thoughts. I looked up for a second.
Nice. Give me a sec.
Well,
yeah.
okay.
So the high was that it was, I think, a perfect time, and therefore for me it was a perfect pace, even though Jacob thinks that it was slow. And another high for me was that it successfully illuminated my desires to drive the narrative of everything I see going on around me. And then the lows were 2 things. Number one, the horror tropes of not successfully protecting yourself when you've done the hard part of protecting yourself, and the jeans.
Ooh, okay. So the jeans made it.
Yeah.
The jeans were really fucking bad.
Yeah, my low is definitely going to be moments where it fell into the more traditional horror camp, like you're mentioning, with the baseball bat and the knife, and I mean, kind of beyond it being like it's a home invasion film, but it's more interesting than that because like Anna is also invading the home. She like found herself in a home that was invaded and then was revaded. So, cool, good, fun, but also kind of tropey, to have someone tied up in a basement. However, the highs, man, this thing is so, it's really, really mean. And I haven't seen that in a horror film in a while. And I might just be watching the wrong films, but like, goddamn, Joe Swanberg as the Invader, he kind of does a wonderful job. This is one of the more scary horror villains that I've watched all year, and probably in the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than Longlegs, Nick Cage's character. Just saying. We all know that Nick Cage had a day and a half on set for Longlegs.
I loved it. I thought it was really good. Other than the number of times you made me listen to that horrible screaming mommy daddy thing. I loved it.
For me, Longlegs
was the
all
worst.
about Micah's performance. But that aside, yeah, man, I'm gonna roll into my.
I gotta say,
yeah,
talking to you guys and especially hearing Kelly's viewing of it, in that it could be looked at as she is the invader.
Yeah.
That really opened my eyes, because I even wrote down here, I put, why is she so afraid? And I was annoyed that she was so afraid over something as minuscule as, oh, I haven't heard from my cousin in like 5 hours. I'm freaking the fuck out. The world's falling apart. It's like, dude, chill. Just like nothing. Like, to me, I'm a very calm, very chill. Like nothing ever really bothers me or gets under my skin.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing how upset and nervous and scared this chick was, like, I was like, why? Like, wait a little bit until you know something's wrong. Like, you don't know anything's wrong. But, putting myself in that position a little more, and it definitely makes a little more sense as to why.
You get to live in that state when you're in America and belonging to those categories, which is, Also, Jacob, just side note, a quick little Googling about Swanberg's questionable behavior.
Mm-hmm.
There is a rumor, this is just for you, Jacob, there is a rumor that he became fixated at one point on making softcore porn with Dasha from the Scary of 61st. So, full circle on that.
Jacob wasn't on that episode, right? He just ended up
No, but
the
you really liked that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to forgive him for it.
So before we do final thoughts, I have two more notes that I forgot, just scrolling down my list. Keating described the Invader as a virus, which is kind of interesting. He goes into a place, he breaks it down until there's nothing left, and then he moves on. And he said that it overtakes a host, and when the host is dead, he's gone, and that it was influenced by the COVID-19 pandemic, which is kind of a fun perspective. And also I have some notes on the building. Apparently, it was going to be bulldozed. So they said...
Really? That house was amazing!
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's how okay.
So it was
because I watched it in two different parts. I forgot the beginning of that started with him just taking like a sledgehammer to things, and I thought to myself, I'm like, this feels more like a demolition than a home invasion. Like,
yeah,
a home invader's not going to just take a sledgehammer to countertops. Like, that's absurd.
So
but now that makes a lot more sense, knowing it was going to be demolished.
Joe wanted to try as hard as possible
internal and external
to get through the floor with the sledgehammer. When he started breaking through the walls, seeing how easy it was for him to punch through the drywall, you could quickly realize that I'm putting a 30-year mortgage in something that is quickly... Okay, so they were actually destroying it, and then they found out that it was going to be bulldozed. So... guess it saved them some money, which is
okay.
Nice.
I actually do have a question looking at my notes now.
Oh.
So we see at the very end how it started, how the invasion started. He's just a weird freak carrying a hammer, knocking on a door, saying, hey, I like your house, and then boom. If that's the way they were killed and the way he entered the house, why was there a bloody screwdriver in an abandoned car belonging to the cousin far away? Like, that...
Well, because the cousin's car was there, and so my guess is he probably drove it
and ditched it in that parking lot. But why would it be in front of her work?
Okay.
I don't know, because he's a fucking psycho. Because there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
It's a valid question,
Yeah.
Jacob. I'm just filling in as with possibilities.
Also,
but, yeah.
for you, Byron, as a man who likes to take photographs and likes cameras and stuff, what was he using to take photos? That looked like
No
a
fucking
dental
idea.
like X-ray machine.
I agree.
Turned Polaroid camera.
It was really
I
cool.
wonder if that's exactly what it is.
I'm so confused as to what that
What if it
was. Like, I
was?
want to. I'm gonna DM Mickey on Instagram and ask him what that was, because it is blowing my mind.
I see a rare Polaroid macro camera. So I believe that it's meant, maybe like you're saying, to use for like close-ups, like inside of a mouth. I think that's a good observation.
Right.
Look up
I was
Polaroid
just so
Macro
confused by what he
5.
was using.
Yeah, I think that this is closer to what we're looking at, but I don't know if it's exactly the same model. But very good point. Man, mean, gritty, short, involving one of the directors that I dare I say had stopped paying attention to a lot of his work. Like, I'm so thrilled that Mickey was able to create something like this that hit me right where films like I don't know, this is gonna hurt, because like Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my favorite films of all time, and this felt like a modern Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, and I know what you're saying. Well, you know what? No caveats. You mentioned that you didn't like the first 30-45 minutes of this film. The first 30-45 minutes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just a bunch of teens walking around in Texas. Like this, I love this film. I am so happy that it finally came out, and God, like, I hope that there's more films like this being made. I can't wait to see what Mickey does. Apparently he's done shooting Crooks, which has been his passion project, a crime thriller that he's been working on for a very long time. I'm so excited to see it. For all those reasons, I give Invader, oh gosh, is this the first 9 of the year? 9 Polaroids?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Kelly.
I mean, I wish that you would do Jacob first so that I could just really oppose him.
Let's go Jacob.
Okay.
Let's sandwich this.
So, at first I had it at a 4.5.
Fuck.
Then with the double foot face smash jump, I bumped that up to a 5.5.
Cool.
And after talking with you guys tonight, I think I'm going to go final score of 6.2 stoner metal riffs.
See, that's respectable.
Okay, I'm taking full credit for changing Jacob's mind.
I think that's fair. I mean, other than you did spend 20 minutes trying to defend Joe Swan.
My hyper-political white guilt has bled over and influenced Jacob's appreciation of the movie.
Wild swings tonight, Kelly. I really appreciate it.
That's what I specialize in.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun for exactly what it was. I liked the fact, in retrospect, at the end, that I'm like, okay, why are we watching this chase scene? What's the so what? Why is this happening? And that it left me without a really clear answer. It's a weird comparison, but in some ways it reminded me of, I'm sure both of you watched, oh my God, why can't I remember the name of it? The Culkin Eisenberg movie.
Oh, Real Pain.
From last year.
A Real Pain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch that, Jacob?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan.
Ugh, fucking whatever. Of course you weren't. Okay, so the end where it's just Culkin sitting at the airport and like, it's really open-ended. Those types of endings are really difficult for me and also really good for me because I want everything to be so like explained and tied up that I think those are opportunities for me to flex my discomfort with drawing my own conclusions or maybe not even drawing a conclusion. And I really liked the end of this movie for that reason as well. So I give Invader 7.8 really delicious steaks.
And those are our thoughts on Invader, which is available now digitally in lots of places. YouTube, Amazon, go check it out. And once you have, let us know what you think. Reach out to us on social media at Frightday on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. Send us an email, contact@frightday.com. Leave a comment below this episode at frightday.com. And we could also have a big discussion about it in the Discord server, discord.frightday.com. I'm reading now a couple other things. Gosh, we're never going to let this film go. It was we didn't talk about how it was set sometime during the Obama administration, which also could be some context.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, Obama standing at the podium giving a speech on TV.
He was at the podium. Okay, because Sam just said he saw Obama. I looked away for a second. I didn't catch it. I'm like, well, I saw Obama on TV last week. Are we sure that it was during the administration, or was it like? But it sounds like it
the
was.
Official White House banner behind his head.
Oh, those were the days.
Better time.
But
I'm reading more notes that are contrasting Anna as a visitor/immigrant and the invader as someone who violently takes what isn't his. So you're not alone.
Oh my gosh, so hold on. Does that mean that like I picked up on a deeper meaning that was a real thing and not even like something I imagined?
Possibly, quite possibly, yes. Yeah.
What a day.
What a day. What a delight. And the fight continues. Jacob, unfortunately, your thoughts will not be considered in future rounds of A24 versus Neon, which is taking place at the FrightdaySociety.org. We will be...
Oh, no, does that mean you're giving it to Sam?
Well, no, we're going to... You get to pick the collaborator at Frightday.com for the
Felicia.
next... Okay, just say it's Felicia then. You might want to pick someone who's seen a lot of the movies, though. I mean, I'm Felicia.
No, I trust Felicia that whether she's seen the movies or not, she's going to be really likely to fall on my side of things.
Wonderful. Well, I am really looking forward to talking more about that. Not sure what we're jumping into next week, but it will most certainly be fun. Jacob.
Have we start Jonestown yet? Jacob, have I told you what I'm doing on Jonestown?
Oh, gosh.
No.
I mean, we'd never done Jonestown official, but Kelly's approaching it from a different angle.
Okay.
It was an MK Ultra CIA experiment.
So,
are you going to cap it off with a review of The Sacrament?
That would be a lot of fun. That would take us back to a sweeter time.
No, we're going to listen to the death tapes. We're going to cap it off with a review of the death tapes.
So you guys can't hear the music playing, but
no, I actually can't even listen to the death tapes.
Is playing. And until next episode of Frightday, I'm Byron.
I'm Kelly. I was waiting for Jacob.
And that's Jacob. Stay home with your doors locked. Don't let strangers in, even if they're just checking out your house.
Yeah, mostly if they're just checking out your house. That's like really fucking weird.
And stay scared.
You've been listening to an Audio Wool original, produced by Byron McKoy. Theme music is provided by Yawns. For more programs like this, visit audiowool.co.